Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome back to the sandbox mode very briefly, in which we are going to be finally naming our three newest vehicles. The missile vehicle you see in front of you, the melee vehicle, and of course, the Doom Drone, as I ended up calling it in pretty much every video. So, I've been promising this for a while, here it finally is, and of course, all of the names have been taken from the previous comment section, and this also includes the lore. Which, by the way, reading it all was a little bit difficult, but hey-ho, dyslexia away. Here's the first then, and I do have to say, this has a lot of lore behind it, so expect quite the ramble, and let's see if I can read this through without making one major mistake. So the missile craft is now going to be called the Ambassador, and the lore is that after the fall of the Dustwind Gypsies, the ever-growing Scrapper army used its newfound resources to establish regional military superiority. Though the Dustwind have been the Scrappers' most hated enemy, the other remnant factions of the Steel Empire's collapse were more than happy to invade Scrapper territory and raid civilian areas for resources. With fresh blood pumping through their veins, it was time for the Scrapper Legion to return the favour. Now the more expensive weapon types had become a viable option, and under the direction of the unified military leadership, the Scrapper engineers began development on the first of a new series of devastating war machines. Having no real need for any additional frontline armoured units, the first priority was to bolster the aging dismantler fleet with a newer, more deadly fire support system. To this end, a powerful, although somewhat cumbersome, multiple missile launcher was designed. Capable of mounting a variety of missiles for virtually any combat situation, the new system would be carried to battle by a lightly armoured chassis powered by an electrical drive and a few small batteries. This chassis oh darn, there's the mistake. Proved surprisingly nimble and allowed the vehicle to safely back away from most hairy situations before they turned catastrophic. Shortly after the first prototype models were completed, the Scrapper leadership crowned their new weapon, the Ambassador. An ironic name for a weapon of war, it perfectly encapsulated the Scrapper's sentiment towards diplomacy, with wounds still fresh from the remnant faction's frequent, bloody invasions of their civilian territory. The Scrappers were beyond making peace, and now looked to enact retribution on those that had wronged them. You know, one mistake, I'm okay with that. Although I did end up replacing a couple of words and simply not speaking others because of the whole speech impediment thing, but I think we can let that slide. And by the looks of things, it sort of ended here with fireworks. Not quite sure what happened to one of their missile sections, but I'm guessing it may have had something to do with these two hitting each other as soon as I started recording. Yeah. And then the church bells goes off. Yep, this is going to be one of those days. The church bells go off. Yep, I can't talk. I do love missiles. Next up, a much shorter piece of lore that gets to the point very quickly, and honestly, a huge chunk of the reason why I've picked this name is because of the amount of puns I can use with the name later on. The melee vehicle is now simply named the Dust Devil. It also works because we will normally only have one per match, and saying devils just seems a little bit odd, so it works in two ways, at least for me. So this unholy creation is a brutal and swift killer. Unless it bounces. It uses a chassis of an old transportation craft that has been modified nearly beyond recognition. It has always been adapted to provide better defense and stability. The design for the blades comes from a former White Flayer turned mercenary. These saws can cut through the heaviest of armor in mere moments. The sight of this horror bearing down upon you brings fear to even the toughest of soldiers. I mean, to be fair, yeah, if there was a huge spinning blade heading towards me, I think I would be a little bit scared as well. Did not expect that first fight to be over so quickly there, honestly. Was a little bit surprised when it just instantly killed it. I expected something more like this. It's weird, but any craft with very oddly shaped armor on the outside tends to be way more resistant than anything with more traditional looking armor. So here we have the Scrapworks, which is definitely less defensive than the Scorpion, and it's taking quite some time for our poor thing to actually kill it. In fact, by the looks of things, it's managed to take out one of its spinners. But we've seen this thing kill rhinos before. Not the most consistent of killers, but we love it all the same. The little devil. There we go, that's better. I think this is a name which at least 10 different people have all suggested for the Doom drone, and it does match perfectly, and it's even the name of one of my first ever ships in From the Depths, and so it is going to be called the Matriarch. Now, before we get into the lore, I do have to say I've had to swap around a few of the words here because they were reliant on the name of some of the other vehicles which have been changed now. So with that, let's get into it. The lore of the Matriarch is that while scrapper drones aren't the most well-made constructs, the Matriarch is a massive improvement for the scrappers in the field of drone construction. With 4 probes that can repair and supply ammo to friendly vehicles, the Matriarch itself can mount an impressive missile volley courtesy of the Ambassador's missile bay that has been mounted on the underside of the drone. Capable of both anti-air and anti-ground strikes, the Matriarch represents a massive step up from the outdated man-o'-war defense drone that most scrapper forces consisted of after the Onyx Watch devastated an already weak group of people. Simultaneously harassing the enemy force while supporting the scrapper fleet, the Matriarch represents the pinnacle of support craft in the scrapper military. And then I would also like to add, I still think the lore of the drone being fairly autonomous, going around collecting bits of scrap here and there and little bits of tech to add to its minions, its probes as this particular bit of lore calls it, should still also be there. But yeah, definitely a step up from the old drones. I miss those things. Now in this fight, I forgot to swap the missiles around, so they're still using the incredibly long range but very weak missiles, the ones which can go 3,000 meters, but don't really have all that much of an impact. On the upside, it did showcase that this thing can take a cram shot to the face and just sort of carry on, which is nice as well. It's also using the old setup of only 2 ammo probes rather than 3, since the shield they ended up replacing in the campaign. Still, it will, by the looks of things, eventually win. Just, maybe, I need to swap the missiles around. There we are, back to the missiles it's using in the campaign, and as you can see, much more damage per hit. So if all of those first few shots were all these missiles, the battle would have been over in moments. Since now it's just relying on its backup ammo rather than the initial few bursts. Looks kind of sad about a barrel. And here we are back in the campaign, ready to take down the mighty Onyx Watch once and for all. But before we do, a full disclosure thing right now is that between the last video and this one, I didn't save the game correctly, which meant I had to do the last fight again, and because of this, we actually were a little bit better off. It just played out that I took less damage, less repair work was needed, and so we have a little bit more material in our bank than we did at the end of the last video. Not so much it's really going to affect the game majorly, but it's always good to be honest when things like that happen, especially when it's down to human error. So with that, let's just get straight into the fight, and as usual, the vehicles haven't been renamed yet, because although I've renamed them in the save file, the ones already created don't automatically take the new name. I will be doing that as soon as possible, though. So, let's get all these moving, and let's get ready to take on the Strength 150, then the 62, and then the Treadstone, the final boss of the Onyx Watch. I think once we've dealt with the Onyx Watch, we definitely need to build a new craft, and the 2 different type of craft at the moment I want to build is a brand new type of tank using a 500mm cannon, or a new upgrade for the Mosquito, because, funnily enough, the Mosquito has now proved itself to be in our top tier of craft. It really counters cram cannons, its missile delivery system is effective, and because they're so short range, they can have quite a few more warheads than our other missile variants, and they can actually take a hit or 2, which is surprising. So building an upgraded version, a little bit more armor, a little bit more speed, might be a nice little side project. And then eventually a jet as well. And an airship. There's a lot of things I want to build, is what I'm trying to say. And then eventually a two-part vehicle to get around the volume limit, although I do want to avoid things like that because that's how I always end up building. It's also why I'm trying not to build too many hovercraft this time around. Anyway, enough chatter, let's move into their territory and get a fight started. Let's kill things. Oh dear, we might be absolutely dead now. I know I've said that before, but 3 rhinos. Oh my god, that's insane. Though it does look like 2 of the rhinos may be spawning in on each other. No, no, they're not. Well, time for the pharaohs to really show just how much they're worth. Honestly, if we lose everything here, I'm not going to be massively upset. We do actually have a load of resource currently waiting to, I would say, rebuild half of this force straight away if we do lose. 3 rhinos. Well then. Well, I've positioned everything, so it's just going to be a matter of can we get a little bit lucky. The Dust Devil, the first to be renamed, is right there at the front, along with the mosquitoes and the copters, and then everything else is just pretty much everywhere else. Maybe put the Doom Drone over here instead. No, because if it goes backwards, I don't want it venturing over here, I want it to stay there. Yeah, I think this is how it's going to go, so I think I'm going to sit in the Doom Drone, because it's nice and far away and doesn't seem to be focused on early on, which is very helpful to me. Now, I did make sure that the land loaded in a second ago, so that should be okay. Yes, it is. Just make sure they're all in combat. Okay. That is a lot of cram cannons being fired. Look at that. It looks like just one huge explosion. There's so much going on. That is ridiculous. Everything is... It almost looks like the colour's been inverted. Not quite. It's more of an orange, got a sepia thing going on. Sepia? That thing. But, yeah. Terrifying. Terrifying. A lot of lag to begin with as well. Ooh, a bit of friendly fire there straight away. Problem having so many forces clumped up. Missiles inbound from pretty much everywhere, including the copters. A lot of Hesh shells hitting the smaller craft over there, and a Hesh shell causing an internal explosion in the one rhino, knocking it into the other one and doing some damage. It's very hard to see what's going on, though, it must be said. But still, getting them so close to each other it just makes them a lot more vulnerable to hitting each other. Again, though, I can't see what's going on. That's ridiculous. Hey, melee vehicle. Don't know who you're after, but hi. Oh, the Dust Devil there, bouncing off the wrong target. Into a cram cannon shot, which was deflected by the shield. And again, with the shield working out, and it's going after the rhino. Did it do damage? Yes, it did. But sadly, it bounced out of the way. And by the looks of things, the spin block got knocked out. That can't have been from the impact. I have never seen that from the impact before. That could have just been a very unlucky shot. He is kind of in the middle of everything, including a lot of our own shells. One rhino's looking pretty bad. Lots of misses on the enemy side, I've seen that, and a nice shot there. After saying misses, then they instantly hit. No idea what the melee vehicle is even doing. The Dust Devil, it's called the Dust Devil Lathrix. Okay, Lathrix. Copters are doing well, which is rare. Again, with the internal explosion being caused by Hesh. This battle's so kind of everywhere, it is hard to get a good overview. Oh, I don't quite know what the Dust Devil is doing. There we go. Being shot at by the rhino though, but still doing okay. That's better. Now I can't see all what's going on, and a bit of friendly fire on our side that time. That was a bad explosion. That was underneath. Yep, that has taken out one of the Pharaoh tanks. One of the Pharaoh tanks have been taken out by the Rhino. That shot went right underneath. And our melee vehicle, the Dust Devil, is doing great. He's, look at that, just wedged himself in there, just destroying block after block. They are one now. Yep, an external explosion there from the Dust Devil. But it does seem to be a bit stuck. The amount of shots incoming seem to be significantly less than earlier. Still focusing on the debt? No! I thought you'd been taken out. Unless that was a different one who's actually completely died now. I don't know. What's happened here? Two of the enemies seem to have locked in. Oh, that didn't look good. Yeah, that one is not aiming at all. Okay, yep, 2 Pharaoh tanks that have been downed. If that wasn't the one we were looking at earlier. One of the rhinos has been completely destroyed. The Dust Devil is now attached to a different rhino, I think. Could be the same one, I honestly don't know. It's being hit by the cram cannons of the rhino, which in turn is hurting the rhino. And once again, even with one of the spinners down, 2 of the spinners down actually, it no longer has one of its top-mounted ones. Oh, has it been removed there as well? Yep, there are 3 spinners down. It's still doing loads, though. I still have no idea how the first one was removed, though. It really looked like it was the collision. Oh, it's underneath the rhino, which is actually fantastic because of that top spinner. Look at all of those blocks, which were just stripped away because of that. The Dust Devil definitely proving itself every single match so far. Still 2 rhinos, though. And a collision there by the Really, Mosquito? That's how you're going to die. Copter, don't join them. Why is everything dying over there? Gonna be some serious repair work after this. I am looking forward to the other factions because I feel like the battles will be much shorter than this and will also be a lot clearer. And the copter suiciding like it does every single match. Yes, I fixed one of the copters, as you can tell, and the other one is still prefix. I couldn't help it. You had to leave at least one. Man, the armor on the rhinos is ridiculous. Only the Hesh and the Dust Devil really do anything. The missiles just glance. Oh, yep, that was definitely the Hesh shell. I think. It was definitely, I think. Even those basic rams, though, are clearly doing a lot of work. As you can see, that damage is being done there by the ram itself. Not by the spin blocks. Although, that's the spin blocks in comparison. Yeah, I think this is indeed a victory. 2 of the mosquitoes are still up, I believe. Or at least 1. Nope, 2 of them are still up. The only one who died was because of a collision. Really, Hesh? No, stop. Stop. Do not kill the Dust Devil. You just took out one of its batteries. It has 5 of them, admittedly, but still. Ooh, or maybe it had some of them removed already. That seems to be struggling to move. Oh, look at the poor thing. It weathered so many cram cannons to the face, only to be killed in a top 10 from the depths betrayals. The poor devil. Seems like that one's barrel's damaged, or its detection system. That was really struggling to actually hit the target there. When normally it can even hit moving targets, but this time, oh, it's stationary. Too bad. I would say this is definitely one of the weaker of the Onyx Watch craft. This is, yeah, the Onega. Or Onega? I can't remember how it's actually pronounced. Either way, I would say it's one of the weaker large variants. Is it like 3,000 volume when repaired? I actually don't know. Definitely over 2,000 though with that. A badly damaged mosquito there. Okay, so... Friendly fire! You took out all of its wheels! Stop doing that! So... Not the cleanest fight. A good victory though, nonetheless, but it will take us a little while to repair up. That's going to cost us a lot. There was a lot of internal damage done to 2 of the Pharaoh tanks. The Dust Devil was almost destroyed near the end there. And I definitely saw one of the... Well, obviously one of the copters instantly died. 2 of the missile bases I saw take damage at one point. So I'll just repair up, and then we'll square up to fight against the Onyx Watch main boss. So, a few minutes later, and amazingly, this has cost me almost 30,000 resources to repair. Apparently, my estimates of how much damage we'd taken was generous, to say the least. We had definitely taken a lot more than I expected. The Doom drone was actually really badly hurt. Never saw it get attacked. I guess because of how far back it is a bit difficult to see all that kind of stuff. But even so, it was almost completely destroyed. Still airborne though, so proud of that, but yeah. The Pharaoh tanks and the Dust Devil definitely keep on proving themselves to me, which I do love. I'm not normally one who's particularly proud of their own designs, but those two I'm definitely happy with. Let's just split these up a little bit straight away so I know what I'm doing. We want to lure the enemy out a little bit here. Oh, look, this tank's still damaged. After 30,000 resources, we still have damage. Okay, you get your butt there, so I can start repairing at least. And then let's just grab any resources here. That might be enough to... No, definitely won't. Might consider destroying one of the other vehicles then, just to ensure the Pharaoh tanks are up and running. Wow, 2 of them are still... Okay, yep, I really underestimated how much damage we took. Have to make a choice here then, because getting the resources from down here will take a while. But we do have enough still, yeah, we do have enough. So, you there... You can hold up to 50,000, so go back and just grab everything you can from this. Leave that for a second and then come back. And that'll be for after this fight, but for now, because I want to do this before they reinforce, and they are really close to reinforcing, I might just have to sacrifice one of the missiles or one of the tanks, so the other tanks are fully operational. There's no point in having a damaged tank to start off with, because normally that means it's lost its ammo or it's lost part of its gun. One of the missile craft was sacrificed, which then allowed me to repair both of the Pharaoh battle tanks. Although I did apparently in the last clip look at the same one twice and think there were 2 damaged exactly the same. There was actually 2 damaged, just the other one wasn't as bad as I thought. So still worse than I originally thought, but then less bad than my second observation was, because observing things is apparently hard. Either way, though, just make sure the land spawned in. We should be able to clear out the lower level straight away, and then hopefully go in against the Treadstone before it's fully repaired. I am, though, somewhat tempted to spawn in a second melee vehicle and see if 2 Dust Devils can defeat the Treadstone, because that would just be funny. Okay, this should be pretty straightforward, honestly. This is not a huge force as their last reinforcement, so let's just spawn in everything. Maybe better if we didn't spawn in everything, actually. Just make sure the Pharaoh tanks are there, and honestly, that should be victory. And maybe the copter, because that's always funny. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just spawn in the Pharaoh tanks. This way the battle isn't too huge, and if we keep them still, so we just don't put them in combat mode, just regular on, then they won't be crashing into each other, and that should, yeah, definitely should be victory. First enemy down. Incoming cram shot. Whoa, I should have let them move. I have never seen that before. How did you do that? Move! Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer unless it involves cram cannons, in which it's really bloody quick and painful. It must have took all of those cram cannons to the face. Unless... Was that friendly fire? I just saw a Hesh shell go right next to that tank. That could have been friendly fire. I don't think so, though, because I did see all of those explosions. If it took that full set of cram at the start and they all happened to hit the same place, which was the weapon... Oh, that was so stupid of me. Should have just let them move. I mean, the idea was sound. Don't let them move, so they won't crash into each other or perhaps cause friendly fire as much. So it's always funny when the Hesh shell hits at an angle, so all of the fragments spawn on the side of the craft rather than inside. It's pretty, at least. Not that effective. Why do you seem so immune to Hesh compared with your friends? Still better than spawning everything in, though. Less resources used on fuel and actual resources in the form of the matriarch drone. See? Sometimes I remember to use their new names. To be fair, I was calling these Hesh tanks for a long time, so only recently have I finally started calling them Pharaoh on a more reliable basis. Did you run out of fuel? Or are you damaged? It's hard to tell from a distance. Hello, little copter. What's going on with you, friend?
Listening.
No fuel. Wow. Just obliterated. Oh god, the main weapon and... No, it looks like... Okay, I'm now seeing what happened. It looks like a few cram shots managed to get underneath. Yet then it blew a hole in its only weak point. This is meant to be 2 thick armor around the outside, but then it's only 1 thick at the very bottom. I'm so sorry, tank. Please allow this dancing helicopter to cheer you up. And I've decided I am going to go down the route of spawning in 2 sand devils, dust devils, to fight against the Dreadstone. Oh no, it also has cannon towers and stuff, though. Maybe not. So, for the sake of silliness, we have the 3 mosquitoes and 2 dust devils versus the end boss of the Onyx Watch. I think this is going to come down to how lucky the dust devils get when they hit the target. The main problem is, especially with spinners, is that mass isn't calculated correctly with the vehicle it's attached to, so it's essentially the mass of that little spinner versus the mass of the Dreadstone. As you can imagine, that bounces away the spinner and then the dust devil quite effectively. However, versus smaller craft, as we've seen, like the tank when I was renaming it into the dust devil, it's a lot better because there's less bounce. Even if you attack the enemy very slowly, that bounce is still there. So let's make sure they're both coming in at different angles, and they're at different distances, since they will hurt each other, and they have the exact same AI. I did ensure the land had spawned in first, so it should be okay. Is that in the air, or is it just very far away? No, that's definitely in the air. Dreadstone! Get down from there. Oh my god! Oh, that was some cram cannons! Damage the spin block. Okay, let's have a quick look at the Dreadstone, shall we, before we continue. Yep, that is a mobile fortress. Oh no, the other cram cannons going after the other melee vehicle. I was hoping some of them would at least be distracted by the mosquitoes. Cannon tower also going after one of the... There. Oh, look at that, though. I was going to say the Dust Devil then got distracted by the fact, yep, that melee is going straight through that vehicle. Why are you both going after that? You're both sets going after the largest target. This thing! Kill it! What are you dum-dums doing? You definitely have your target set to go after the largest target. That was not the largest target. This is the largest target. Wow. Well, you removed its wheels. Well, the arm around the... Whoa, you are really cutting into it, but that was an explosion right on your face. Oh my god, I think they're actually going to win. The dum-dums are going to win. No, they might not, though. It depends. But he's... Yeah, that's going straight through. Oh, it's got underneath a little bit. The spin block is now doing maximum damage. They're like parasites or something, aren't they? Are you stuck, guys? You look a bit stuck. Go, mosquitoes! I believe in you. Oh, no, don't hit. Oh, that was airborne. Oh, more explosions. They're back to moving around now. Okay, the one died, which then allowed the other one to move a bit. We're still too damaged. They've done it, ladies and gentlemen. The Dust Devils have defeated the Dreadstone. Oh, they do not deserve that win. Oh, that was glorious, though. Om nom nom. Look at it's missing half of its body. Which I think was friendly fire from the... Can you even turn? Oh, look at it trying to turn, but it's only got wheels on one half. Please just keep on... What the happened? What happened there? Just don't focus on the mosquitoes. Keep on aiming at this thing. You'll be fine. Oh, there it goes! And some melee damage being done. And then getting stuck. And that's why some bounce, though, is needed, because otherwise you get stuck. Is that spin block still attached? No, it's not. It's just... Oh, that's what happened. Okay, so... What's happened here is this spin block isn't actually attached. It's technically just a piece of debris, like there is everywhere during a fight. But it's got stuck, which means this doesn't really have the physics anymore of a ram. But when our lovely fellow hits the enemy, it's still being the thing which is wedging it, which means it's not doing the ram damage. So it gets stuck. That must have been what happened when it got underneath. Don't fire, please. Don't be mean. I mean, to be fair, if you do fire, you're probably going to hurt yourself as well. Sue, how are you? Don't know what to do here, honestly. Just, Are those wheels not even touching the floor? Can I perhaps nudge this a little bit? Okay, the spin block's gone, but you're still... No. Is the spin block attached? It's hard to tell. No, it's definitely not. When I try and build with it, it's classed as not being there. Or is it? It's so... No, it's definitely not there. I can walk through it. Is that mosquito still alive? It still has its AI. You're kidding me. Oh. It's still trying to turn towards the enemy, using its one internal rotor that's still working. I can just about hear it. I mean, you've got to give credit to some of these things, just clinging to life at all cost. Should I just capture this? You know what? It can't hurt me. And I'm slowly winning. I think my honor rules have definitely been cited here. Let's capture this thing. Where even is the AI to have not been destroyed from all this? Also, all the blocks are like the same color, which makes it really hard to see what I'm doing. I would be... Okay, if I was building this, I would either put the AI at the base or at the pinnacle. Neither of which appears to be the case. What's that blue, though? Oh, okay, yeah, the mainframe is at the very, very pinnacle, so... This might destroy the building, though, since I am going to be shooting at essentially the gun. Welcome aboard, Tower. Anything that wants to live that much, I'm sure would turn traitor. And honestly, you don't have a faction left anymore. We've just killed your owners. I would say for the greater good, but at this point, I think we're just being a little bit sadistic. Oh, whoa, that glitched. So there we are then, the Onyx watch has been taken out, and next we are going straight after the Twin Guard. The reason is, their base is right here. We can probably have a 1-episode war. We just go against the Twin Guard and annihilate them. Though I still need to send some reinforcements down here though to the Lightning Hood section, because that was a close battle in the last episode. But still. Well done to the Mosquitoes, and of course, well done to the Dust Devil. I think I might need to make that first spin block a bit sturdier, but it's hard to make it any more sturdy. It's completely surrounded in heavy armor, both underneath, above, and on the actual spin block itself. But anything which can get through armor layers, like very powerful explosives or Hesh shells, will annihilate them. These two top spin blocks, though, have just been proving to be so good. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. In the next episode, we will be going after the Twin Guard, and I will be taking a quick look just to make sure I have set up these Dust Devils correctly. The fact they both went after the most medium-sized enemy first, then the Rhino, is a bit odd. It was just really weird, I don't quite know what happened. But anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Actually, you know what? We can probably check right now. So, ignore the outro. Although I won't say it all again in a second. I'm just going to find the AI, and let's see if we do have it set up correctly. Yeah, we do. Value per block, and value per altitude. It hates things which are too high up, but loves things which... Oh. Oh, is that what it was? Because the Treadstone spawned in the air. Maybe that's it. Maybe then they should be a little bit lower, maybe something like -2. No, but it definitely needs to always go after ground units, and if there's a very large unit in the air, we still want the altitude to override that. So actually, maybe I'll make it more extreme. Okay, thank you for watching, goodbye, have a lovely day, and do take care.